morning, children. I am your English teacher. Today we'll continue with the lesson Nelson Mandela. The oppression policy sacred many people and it will take a long time for them to move on. The author mentions that this hard time had its negative impacts, but it also exposed a lot of strong and courageous men who stood up and raised their voice. So, I have told you that all the 6 people, that is Oliver Tambo, Walter Sistles, Chief Luther, all these people, they all together joined with Nelson Mandela, and they were very courageous men, and they stood up and raised their voice, children. And thus it required that level of unjust treatment to produce such great heroes. South Africa, he says that South Africa was very rich in minerals and gems and purest diamonds, but its greatest strength lies in its people, Nelson Mandela told children. So in the next part, you will be learning about what happened in the next paragraph, children. It is from these comrades in the struggle that I learned the meaning of courage. Time and again, I have seen men and women risk and give their lives for an idea. I have seen men stand up to attacks and torture without breaking, showing a strength and resilience that defies the imagination. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. See, children, here the meaning comrades means a colleague or a fellow member of an organization who joined along with Nelson Mandela, children. Resilience, the ability to deal with any kind of hardship and recover from its effects. Defies, refuse to obey. Triumph means great victory or achievement. See, children, here Nelson Mandela again gained his strength to stand against the wrong from all the great nationalists, and he also mentioned above who have even risked their lives for freedom and tolerated ill treatment. But he never stopped fighting. He learned that courage did not mean the absence of fear, children. Okay, but the ability to overcome fear. The man who overcomes his fear is called brave. See, children, what Nelson Mandela gained is his strength to stand against the wrong from all the great nationalists, and he also mentioned that he took risk in his life for freedom and he tolerated all ill treatment which was being given by the whites, but never he stopped fighting with the whites till he got democracy in South Africa, children. And he also learned that courage was the main absence of fear, but the ability to overcome fear. The man who overcomes its fear is called brave. In this para, no one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love, for love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Even in the grimmest times in prison, when my comrades and I were pushed to our limits, I would see a glimmer of humanity in one of the guards, perhaps just for a second, but it was enough to reassure me and keep me going. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. See, children, here in this para, the meaning grimmest means very serious or gloomy. Okay, glimmer, shine faintly with a wavering light, the light which shines. Pushed to our limits, pushed to the last point in our ability to bear pains. reassure, say or do something to remove the doubts. So children, here one is taught by its society how to hate humans. Because of the society only, people also started to learn how to hate human beings. Because of their skin, color, age, gender, and religion, no one is inborn with hatred. The author's idea is that if people can be taught hatred, they can also be taught love and brotherhood, children. And in their most testing times in prison, when they were being treated brutally, that was, they were beaten black and blue, Mandela would see a pinch of humanity and kindness in one of the guards, and that was enough to keep him going. And he believed that goodness in human beings can be suppressed but never eliminated, children. So it was taught by its society how to hate humans. Okay, and because of their skin, color, age, gender, and religion, children. Next paragraph. In life, every man has twin obligations: obligations to his family, to his parents, to his wife and children, and he has an obligation to his people, his community, his country. In a civil and human society, each man is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own inclinations and abilities. But in a country like South Africa, it was almost impossible for a man of my birth and color to fulfill both of those obligations. In South Africa, a man of color who attempted to live as a human being was punished and isolated. See, children, here obligation means a duty or a commitment which people commit that I will do it. Like their commitments will be there. Civil, courteous, and polite. Inclination, natural tendencies of behavior. Inevitable, unavoidable, children. So, here, according to the author, that is Nelson Mandela, every human being has its own responsibility towards the family and as well as the society. And generally, under normal circumstances, children, a person can maintain his balance between the two, but in countries like South Africa, it was never so easy. And when a person of color would come up for his society, he would be arrested and taken away from his family. And by this, from fulfilling both responsibilities, in the beginning, Mandela did not put his people over his family, but it was only later when he realized that in order to be there for his people, children. And he was also compromising his duties towards his own family. So, in South Africa, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to his people was inevitable ripped from his family and his home and was forced to live a life apart, a twilight existence of secrecy and rebellion. I did not in the beginning choose to place my people above my family, but in attempting to serve my people, I found that I was prevented from fulfilling my obligations as a son, a father, and a husband. See, children, here the author says that he would be arrested. Oh, Nelson Mandela was being arrested also. He was taken away from his family. Thus, by keeping them from fulfilling both responsibilities in the beginning, Mandela did not put his people over his family. And it was not only later he realized that in order to be there for his people, and he was compromising his duties towards his own family. I was not born with a hunger to be free. I was born free, free in every way that I could know, free to run in the fields near my mother's hut, free to swim in the clear stream that ran through my village, free to roast mealies under the stars and ride the broad backs of slow moving bulls. As long as I obeyed my father, abided by the customs of my tribe, I was not troubled by the laws of man or God. So children, here stream means a small narrow river. Mialis, a maize plant. Abided, obeyed. So here the author did not have the plan to stand against the apartheid system early in life. He lived his childhood like any normal child in South Africa. He only had to follow the rules set up by his father or the custom of his tribe. As soon as he grew up and began to learn the facts as to how people of color are treated, he decided to stand against it, children. So, by this, you would have understood the lesson. I'll continue in my next class, children. Thank you all. I have given the meanings also here. You can note down that in your classwork. Thank you all, children.